people who know what it means when I say Synergy's a real home. It's more than a co-op, it's a haven. That's what it was for me before something terrible happened. I'm writing to you so you can hear my side of the story, so you know where I'm coming from and why what happened is so significant. 1 week ago, the unthinkable happened. At about 10 p.m. on Thursday, a Synergite was handcuffed by police, violently dragged out of our beloved home, and taken to a lockdown unit in Stanford Hospital, even though the student wasn't hurting anyone, including herself. That student was me, Jenna. And in less than 72 hours, I lost faith in so many people and institutions. My parents, Stanford administration, the medical profession, and some of my closest friends. The story begins 2 years ago, when I was diagnosed with a mood disorder called bipolar disorder. I was living at home with my parents for the first time in 16 months, and I had gone through some major personality changes while I was away. My parents weren't comfortable with my new way of being, how energetic or talkative I was, how I had grandiose dreams. So they took me to a few shrinks, and sure enough, pretty soon I had a label that stuck. But I have never agreed with a diagnosis. I have a major problem with having to think of myself as defective. Bipolar disorder implies that my mood cycle between extreme depression, like feeling suicidal, and extreme mania, with scattered thoughts, out-of-control behavior, and seriously delusional thinking. But you can ask anyone that's lived with me for any length of time, and they'll tell you. I just don't get depressed very often, or for any real length of time. Well, with one exception, but I was over-medicated last winter, and it doesn't count. Anyway, I don't deny that my behavior has manic elements at times. However, I don't think of it as a disability or a defect. I tend to be in a good mood, loving life. Sometimes I get so excited and so elated, and I just get intoxicated with my own passion for being me. I get high from every breath, every nerve feels stimulated, floods of endorphins rush through my veins, and I feel nothing but blissful euphoria. I feel like singing and dancing. I feel a bubbling of warmth towards every person or thing I encounter. Sure, I get kind of spacey when I'm in this state. Once, when I was feeling this way, I wandered off from a camping trip with friends. They found me 10 hours later meditating nude on a sand dune overlooking the ocean. Then another time I was at a club in Montreal and fell into a trance, dancing for 8 straight hours. And then there was a time my friends found me on this rooftop of an apartment in Cambridge, drawing madly with a blue pen and laughing at the rain. And then there was the time I became fixated on this single tree, moving in the wind. Are you noticing a pattern of harmlessness here? That being said, I get really, really upset and majorly pissed off and very threatened when people treat me like I'm some kind of criminal and freak of nature. Honestly, I feel blessed that I experience altered states. They tend to be intensely creative, real, meaningful, spiritual journeys. Very personal. But the people around me, they get freaked out. When they see me exhibiting new behaviors, they get very concerned and think I'm in some kind of trouble. Outside professionals are brought in, and honestly, I feel agitated because I feel that no one's listening to what I want. Unnecessary force is used, and I feel crushed. I find myself back in hell, the hospital, where more and more pills are jammed down my throat. It's the same patterns every time. The people around me lose touch with me. I'm taken to a hospital where I'm forced to chug medication. Within 3 days or so, I'm lucid and back to Earth. When I come back to Earth, I see that I was out of it. I see that I needed some gentle reminders. So knowing this, I try to moderate my highs. I take medication when I need to sleep. I focus my energies on being productive rather than wandering off with my thoughts. I focus on forming connections with the people around me when I feel my mood's about to take off. Well, that seemed to work last quarter and over Christmas break, but everything fell apart the first week of this quarter. It was a combination of a few stupid mistakes and some very bad luck. I didn't make enough effort to explain my actions and goals to the house. I didn't spend enough time getting to know my new roommate. I didn't warn her about my highs or explain to anyone what they should and shouldn't do when they're concerned about me. I wasn't on good terms with my parents or my doctors, but I couldn't trust them when I saw them as just trying to control me. If I had just held my tongue, though, everything could have been fine. On that Thursday, I was having a really good time at my party, and then suddenly I was pulled away. I found myself in a room full of concerned faces threatening me in their worry. When an outsider from administration got involved, I lost it. I was in hysterics. They saw the absolute worst side of me. I should have held my tongue. But I felt so hurt. I couldn't keep that inside. I had put so much blind faith in Synergy. To be honest with me. To catch me gently if ever I screwed up. But the police dragged me out of my home. Our home. I couldn't understand what I had done that was so evil as to deserve the treatment that I suffered through. I was lucid Thursday night, excited and elated, but connected to my party guests. I was not hallucinating. I can tell one from the other, and I was fine. You have to believe me, I was fine. Was it such a crime that I wasn't on my medications just then? I don't know. The next few days in the hospital were very hard on me. Everything I did, playing the piano, making collages, being angry at the doctors, was all used against me as evidence that I was out of my wits and manic. But what hurt me most was to discover that my parents had already moved my belongings out of Synergy. And I was barred from being in school. How could this happen? I had poured so much of myself into Synergy. It had taken me so long to find the perfect classes. Everything in my life had been so good. And to have it all taken away so quickly, with so few questions asked, it's been a week since I was dragged away. And you know what? I see now that everyone involved thought they were doing their job. I forgive everyone who crushed my feelings. But that forgiveness, it doesn't take away this pain of remembering those men, those meds, those people who had no faith in me. I'm jaded. I still love everyone in Synergy, though. But now, when I look at the house, all I see is a squad of faceless men storming in and grabbing me. The image is fixed in my mind. You know what? I'll come back. Yeah, I'll come back in time. If only to say hello. I love you, Synergy. I love you.